So after my angry rant, I was thinking of ways that I could creatively teach you guys how to teach your adult homies how to be less of pigs. Because look, do you guys see all that trash right there? So that's the other side of the beach that I was on. So I like 15 or 20 minutes just in one little section, and all of that trash was what I picked up. And in the other video, all of that trash is what I picked up. So how do we convince our adult homies to be more responsible with trash, whether it's our food trash, our weed trash, our children's trash, our drinking trash, our ritual trash, whatever the case may be, okay? And I've gone on a couple journey walks and things like that with people, and I've partied on the beach. I've done all that. So how did I used to trick my friends into cleaning up after themselves? Well, simple. Once they were drunk and the buzz is starting to wear off, you know how you get a little loopy and you have extra energy? And I used to do this with my cousin too. We'd go into cleaning rampages. We'd get our entire house clean after a good drinking, right? So and there is people who need to be drunk to clean. It becomes a bad habit. However, when you're out and about with a group of friends, a fun way to keep track of all the shit that you bring to the beach is that, you know, like I used to joke around, be like, clean up, everybody clean up. And I start singing, you know. So you can be the jolly one, but if you're not jolly and you don't want to be the bitchy one either, what you can always do and what is very effective is you can start cleaning and make it a game. Who can pick up more pieces of trash? Who can pick up more this? Who can, you know, make it a game? Because as adults, we do know why it's important to do these things. However, we don't have the motivation to do it. Now, a lot of us lose the motivation with time because essentially we are individuals that, you know, we lose our spark, we lose our magic, we lose our inspiration to be better, especially when you're exhausted. Hey, I'm exhausted from a week of work on Friday night. I just want to party. And that's reasonable, not logical in some senses, because you're harming your body to reward it for a week of hard work. So your body learns to register reward as punishment, and eventually it becomes an actual punishment upon your body. However, with that said, I'm not judging you for partying. No one is judging you for partying, but the main thing that you guys can do is right before you leave, everybody has that little burst of energy, whether you're sitting with psilocybin, whether you're sitting with hape, whether you're sitting with rape, however you want to pronounce it, whether you're sitting with marijuana or alcohol or any other substance that you use to find joy or self-medicate, because look at the world we live in. Also, remind your body of the joy that it is to be responsible with your body and yourself, because then it won't associate that a week of stress and now I'm craving the alcohol because that is my release. That you're creating addiction in your own body because you're rewarding it with a punishment that now it's seeing as reward. So again, I'm not judging you for doing that. I'm saying that if you do want to change that mindset in your adult homies, you have to change it within yourself, and you have to be the example of it. You actually have to live it and be the example of it. Yes, this will lose you some friends. However, it could also fortify your friend group. Leave no trace isn't just something that the new age hippies do. And that's the problem, that leave no trace. Even when we'd go fishing with my dad, especially when it came to lost fishing line, because my twin brother would get tangled and I would get tangled, and he and I were a mess if we were standing next to each other. He would do his damnedest to get all of that fishing wire. Several times he got hooks stuck on his hands trying to get that fishing string out of the bushes near where we were practicing throwing the line and things like that. That is responsibility as a parent. You brought all these fishing he would make us count our little fishing levers or whatever, and if some would go missing, he would try his damnedest to find them, and if he couldn't find them, you know, but he would do his best to try to find them. And that's what I'm saying. If you're going to go fishing, if you're going to go party to the beach, if you're going to go ritualize at the beach, do it, cool, but be responsible about it, because you are an adult and you are the example for our future generations, but you're also the example for the circles of people that you run in. If you're not being a good example, you're an enabler and you're part of the problem. And I know that some of us say, well, we can't just stop hanging out with the people that because they don't want to act different. Okay, but you can cause the same level of discomfort that they're causing for you when they're doing this shit, because it's uncomfortable to see friends harming the planet or harming themselves. So cause them discomfort. Have the hard talk with them. Because if it's not coming from you, who they trust, who is it going to come from? Laws and regulations? Because we can't self-police? How does that fucking make sense as a society? Let's get real about that. If we can't self-police amongst our own friends because we're enabling harmful behaviors, then who the fuck are we to say that we want a better society? There's a difference between accepting a person for who they are and enabling their behaviors. It's exhausting. It's exhausting. And I know I get negative too. I get very negative, especially when things are getting hard. But I go to people I trust that aren't going to see my needing to express myself as negativity, because that's harmful. Energetically and physically, we need to be more responsible with our friends, our family, and our society. Because if we're not responsible for it, then we have government agencies pretending that they can be responsible when they can't even fucking enforce their laws. So just keep that in mind, because that's how violence happens, and we're giving them the power and the means to inflict that violence upon us, and the reasoning and their logical thinking to be able to inflict that violence upon us. So just keep that in mind. I love you and have a beautiful day.